Ethan and Marissa had been married for 14 years. They were the kind of couple others envied once. Weekend getaways, quiet laughter, picture-perfect memories on a mantle. But something changed. The distance between them grew after Marissa's miscarriage. Ethan became cold, detached, always out late. And when he was home, he wasn't really there. Marissa, ever hopeful, suggested a weekend retreat. A lakeside cabin far from the noise of the world. No phones, no Wi-Fi, just them. Ethan agreed. 2 days later, only one of them came back. The 911 call came in just after midnight. My wife, she slipped. She hit her head. She's gone. Police found Ethan soaked and shivering by the lake, staring into the water. Marissa's body was recovered shortly after, bruised, lifeless, her skull fractured against the rocks. No signs of struggle, no defensive wounds. Just a tragic accident, they said. The funeral happened quickly. Closed casket, no public ceremony. And just like that, Marissa Collins was gone. 3 days later, Ethan received a text from her number. You buried the wrong body. He stared at the screen, heart pounding. Another text followed. I saw what you did. His first thought? Someone was messing with him. Maybe a cruel prank or a glitch. He tried calling the number back. No answer. He deleted the messages. They came again. And again, this time with a photo. It was of him, standing at the edge of her grave. Ethan took the phone to the police, showed them the messages. They told him it was probably a spoof number, a scammer. That kind of thing happens, they said. But Detective Marie Hall wasn't so quick to dismiss it. The texts were chilling, specific, too detailed to be random. Something about Ethan's story didn't sit right. She quietly reopened the investigation. First stop, the coroner's report. There was something strange. The body they buried had no fingerprints. The tips had been burned, intentionally. Detective Hall ordered a DNA test. The results came in 4 days later. The woman in the coffin was not Marissa Collins. Digging into Marissa's background revealed something else. Before she married Ethan, her name was Marissa Lowell, and years ago, she had filed a restraining order against a man named Nathan Cross. That man vanished shortly after, but he didn't really disappear. He changed his name to Ethan Collins. The husband, the grieving widower, was hiding an entire life, a past he'd buried long before he buried a body. Detective Hall confronted him. Ethan denied everything, said the DNA test was a mistake, said Marissa must have lied about her name before they married. He kept twisting the story, but he couldn't twist what came next, because the texts didn't stop. One of them included a photo of Marissa's wedding ring, the same ring she was supposedly wearing when she slipped and fell, yet never recovered from the water. Another message simply said, "You forgot what's beneath the floor." Hall returned to the cabin. The place was quiet, abandoned, but in the basement, behind a false wall, she found a hidden space. Small, cramped, just big enough to hide something someone never wanted found. Inside was a worn leather backpack. In it, a blood-stained phone, Marissa's wedding ring, and a journal. The last page was stained, the ink smeared, but the words were still legible. If you're reading this, I didn't drown. He tried to bury me alive. The next morning, the police got a call from a motel 60 miles away. A woman using the name Lisa Monroe had checked out, leaving behind a burner phone, the same number the messages came from. Security footage showed her walking away calmly, disguised, alone. Marissa, alive. She had survived Ethan's attempt to kill her. She had crawled from the woods, broken and bloody, and vanished, but she never stopped watching. She waited for him to bury the wrong body, waited until she had proof, waited until justice wouldn't be hearsay. It would be undeniable. Ethan was arrested at home, charged with attempted murder, identity fraud, obstruction of justice, and more. The man the town once praised was alive from the beginning. His past came undone, piece by piece, and the woman he tried to erase, she became his judge, jury, and executioner of truth. Sometimes death isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the beginning of the real one. Marissa never came forward publicly. Her whereabouts remain unknown. But Detective Hall believes she's watching still. And if she is, she knows one thing for certain. She wasn't buried. But the man who tried to silence her, he is. The text had stopped. The police had their man. But that didn't mean Marissa was safe. She hadn't used her real name in over a year. To the motel manager, she was Lisa Monroe, quiet, polite, always paid in cash. She stayed 3 nights, left no trace, and never once turned her back to a door without checking the mirror first. She changed motels often. Cities, too. Sometimes towns so small they didn't ask for ID. Sometimes places so crowded she could blend in. But no matter where she went, she always packed the same 3 things first. The wedding ring Ethan gave her, the crack burner phone she used to destroy him, and the journal she started writing the night he tried to kill her. She remembered the moment too clearly. It was raining. She had told Ethan she was leaving, not just a cabin, but the marriage. She had found out who he really was. Nathan Cross, the man with a sealed record and a trail of broken women behind him. She thought telling him face to face would give her closure. Instead, he smiled. "You always were the curious type," he said. Then everything went black. When she woke up, she was underground. The sound of dirt hitting wood. The damp cold pressing in from all sides. Her fingers bloodied from clawing. Her throat raw from screaming. Then silence. Time folded on itself. Hours. Maybe days. She only remembered the moment the air shifted. Rainwater had seeped through the dirt and rotted the edges of her shallow grave. She felt her hand break through the surface. And somehow, she pulled herself out. The first place she went was the ranger station 2 miles from the cabin. But Ethan had been smart, charming, convincing. By the time help arrived, he'd staged everything. The fake body, the bruises he gave himself, the pre-written texts on her old phone to make it look like she'd been distant, cold. He buried her again, but this time in the minds of everyone who thought they knew her. So she did the only thing she could. She vanished. Marissa knew she couldn't beat him in person, but she could break his story. She spent 6 months tracking down Detective Marie Hall, a woman she'd only heard about through rumors on small true crime forums. Hall had solved a similar case of Virginia 3 years earlier, a man who tried to fake his wife's death and almost got away with it. She sent her everything anonymously, the photos, the ring, the journal, but the most powerful piece? A recording. The night before the cabin trip, Marissa had used an app to record Ethan, just in case. Something in her gut had told her this wasn't just a bad marriage. It was dangerous. The recording was short, but enough. Ethan's voice. "It's funny, Riss. You never wondered how I could start over so easily. A new name, a new town, a clean slate. You never even asked what happened to the last one. That audio, paired with the DNA test and journal entry, cracked the case wide open. Hall moved in, and Ethan was arrested. But justice didn't feel like safety. Even in prison, men like Ethan had shadows. People loyal to them. People who didn't ask questions, just followed orders. Marissa stayed hidden. But she watched. She always watched. Then, 2 months after the trial, something changed. Her motel door was cracked open one morning, not forced, just unlatched. She always triple-locked it. On the floor was an envelope. Inside, a photo of her as a child, one she hadn't seen in decades. A slip of paper. One sentence. He was never working alone. Marissa packed her things and ran. Not just from the motel, from everything. She deleted the burner phone, burned her journal, cut her hair, changed her face with subtle surgeries. But that photo meant someone knew everything. And not just about her. Back in Massachusetts, Detective Hall reopened Ethan's seal records. What she found shocked even her. Ethan, or Nathan, had worked with 2 other men in the late 90s. They weren't just criminals. They were recruiters. They helped women disappear. Or so it seemed. But none of the women ever came back. They weren't hiding. They were buried. One of the men, Lucas Dent, had recently reemerged under a new alias, a religious leader in Ohio. But there were rumors of offshore accounts and payments made to someone inside the prison Ethan was held in. Detective Hall's theory? Ethan never planned to escape. He planned to redirect attention. And Marissa was the bait. Hall issued a warning through encrypted channels, hoping it would reach Marissa wherever she was. They're still looking. You were never the only one, but you might be the last one left. Somewhere far away, in a city where no one knew her name, Marissa sat in a cafe. She wore gloves now, always, not to hide fingerprints, but because her hands still trembled. She stirred her coffee, eyes fixed on the television overhead. A news anchor reported a new case, a woman gone missing in Ohio, last seen entering a church. Marissa didn't blink. She left money on the table and walked into the rain, because the truth wasn't done yet, and she had one more message to send.